Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Oxytoxic from the Wedding Drama subreddit and says, my female 24, fiancé's male 27, mum refuses to attend our wedding unless it meets her standards. Is this a battle worth fighting? As always, this is a story that started some months ago but now has a new update on it as well, so if you do want to skip certain parts of it, timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. I, female 24, am planning a wedding with my fiancé, male 27. We've been in a long distance relationship for 2 years and are planning to get married next year. My parents are supportive, but his mum isn't. It's not because she dislikes me, but because she's afraid the wedding won't be grand enough and that she'll be embarrassed. She wants a big wedding and insists on inviting important people from our office, which isn't what my fiancé and I want, especially since we're still in junior positions. She told us to postpone the wedding until we're 30 and can afford something more extravagant. If we still can't do it by then, she wants us to get married abroad to avoid embarrassment on her part. My fiancé has explained our plans and expressed how much he wishes she could be more understanding, but this has been a recurring pattern in his family. His mother often acts as if the world revolves around her. She doesn't take no for an answer. Now she's saying she won't come, and neither will her side of the family if we move forward with our current plan. My fiancé, my family and I are all okay with moving forward, but deep down we both want her there. We've done everything we could to involve her, but she insists it has to be done her way. I find that hard to accept, especially since we're the ones paying for the wedding. We even suggested therapy, but she refused. Now she says the whole situation is stressing her out and that she's losing sleep over it. For context, I live in Southeast Asia, where weddings are usually family-centered, but in our religion, the groom's parents are not required to be present. I don't want my fiancé to feel like he has to choose between me and his family. I've tried hard to earn his parents' approval, and they have no issue with me as a person. It's just the wedding that doesn't meet his mum's expectations. My fiancé is a wonderful man and wants to marry me, with or without his mum's blessing. But I keep wondering, is this a battle that I should keep fighting, or is it something I need to let go of? I think the important thing in this situation is that your fiancé is standing with you. That's the real test in these situations, and we see it time and time again, and thankfully he seems to understand the problem. The danger would be if he started bending to her demands to, as we always say, keep the peace, because then this wouldn't stop at the wedding, because otherwise it would leak into other things like where you live, potentially if you decide to have children, how you raise them, what your holidays look like, basically every major decision afterwards. And it's just such a wild thing to say to someone. Imagine yourselves going up to someone and saying, oh, can you delay the wedding because I need it to be more extravagant? It's just such a wildish thing to say. Wanting you to delay your lives for years just so she can show off a more extravagant event. It's just incredibly selfish. Then she was trying like emotional blackmail at the same time. If you do this your way, I won't come. That side of the family won't come, and I'm losing sleep over this. The commenter says to OP, so it'd be less embarrassing to miss your wedding because she's a snob, and let her spend the rest of her life explaining to people why she didn't show. Commenter says, in your shoes, I'd plan a dream honeymoon for me and my husband-to-be and elope. Done and done. Maybe plan on throwing a housewarming party sometime down the road, or a 25-year wedding anniversary banquet when the time comes. Mother-in-law can kick rocks. This won't be the first of her demands or interference. Nip that shite in the bud and live your life. Another commenter says, if you give in to her ridiculous demands on your wedding, you're going to set a precedent for any major decision in your marriage. She'll demand to be involved in everything. Children, house, career, etc. Call her bluff and go ahead with your wedding. If her misplaced ego is more important than being there for her son on his wedding day, she's not worth the trouble. Special says, have the wedding you want and let her come or not. She probably just really wants you guys to wait to get married so she doesn't have to lose her little boy or something stupid. OP replies saying, some part of me feels the same way. My fiancé's parents have huge fights over small things and his mum drags the kids into it. She expects her sons to watch and even step in, which I think is unfair. On top of that, she expects my fiancé to cover her travel and some household bills. He's basically been the backbone of the family, acting like a second parent to his younger brothers. A commenter replies saying, so this is a really big deal, both because she is losing support in the household, but her favoured child is leaving. I'm going to echo my other comment and suggest you find one fancy thing that she can pay for. Maybe it's a really big cake or upgraded flowers and tablecloths, one thing that suits her style. There are a lot of comments about her relying too much on her son, or needing to cut the apron strings, but in truth, these are complex relationships, and she isn't just some lady who wants to get her way. From her perspective, she's losing something that has always been precious to her. For some mums, it's hard to let go. In some cultures, it's even harder. She should be supporting and celebrating your day. She's not. Why? Ask her, why is this marriage causing you so much anxiety? Give her a chance to express herself and then give her an opportunity to have some input. This won't be a popular post because it involves a lot of perspective talking and conciliatory approach, but that's the reason I'm suggesting this. It seems as if your actual goal is to make her happy without making yourself unhappy, so find out why she's struggling with it so much and help her through it if you can. Which I thought was an interesting comment and one that may work, but I think it would only work if the parent is fundamentally reasonable underneath all this drama anyway, because the worrying part from the original story was, if you don't do it my way, I won't come, and neither will my side of the family. That's not about just sadness about losing her son, that's coercion. She's trying to leverage family attendance to force you to comply, which for me, it sort of changes it from being emotional to just manipulative. So it looks to be about 3 or so months later that OP came in with her first update and said, "Hi everyone, this is an update from my previous post." After a few days, she reached out to me personally. She said she didn't approve of the wedding because she felt my fiancé wasn't financially stable enough yet. For context, we're both financially independent and covering all wedding costs ourselves. I replied politely, saying I'm sorry she felt that way, but assured her that I'm not a financial burden to her son since I want to have my career and all. I also said we're both pursuing our goals and there's no reason to wait to get married. Apparently that set her off really badly. She called my fiancé for 3 hours, hysterically yelling about how disrespectful it was for me to reply with a long message. When he got home, she continued yelling and even called me names. She made his brother sit there and watch everything. No one defended him. This went on for several days. Every time he came home, she'd start yelling again for hours. It reached a point where my fiancé packed up all his things to move out, but before he could leave, his mum found out, trashed all his belongings, literally ripped out his luggage in two and called him horrible names. It didn't stop there. She physically attacked him and made the entire family watch. I still can't process how fast everything escalated. It happened so suddenly and so brutally that I took a 24-hour flight the next day and went straight home, completely shaken. I know he needed me that time. Not being able to do anything if I'm far would have killed me. Now, he hasn't gone home since, and we've decided to elope next year. I still can't believe this all started because she wanted a prestigious wedding. It's heartbreaking to see how far it went, but at least we're standing together. Please wish us luck and peace as we move forward. Months again later, OP comes in with her final update and says, "Hi everyone, here's a final update from my previous posts," and then shares part 1 and 2. In short, we're married now. A few weeks ago, we officially became husband and wife. In the end, we decided to keep things small and intimate. We had a simple celebration with my extended family, good food and lots of laughter. Of course, not having his side of the family there was painful, especially for him. I know there's still sadness underneath it all, and I don't think anyone imagines their wedding turning out this way, but despite everything, we still had such a beautiful day together. I'm incredibly proud of him. And that wasn't an easy decision for either of us to get married under these circumstances, especially in a Southeast Asian country, where family expectations and approvals can be very strong. But I saw firsthand how difficult this entire situation was for him, and despite everything, he never stopped choosing kindness. His family stopped contacting him for a while after calling him and my family horrible names, insulting my family for being poor, and even demanding that my family repay all the money they had spent raising him. We honestly don't know what the future looks like with his family, and maybe that's okay for now. Right now, we're focusing on building a healthy and peaceful life together instead of chasing approval that may never come. Thank you to everyone who showed us kindness and support on my previous posts. Your words genuinely helped us get through some very dark moments. For now, we're happy, and that's enough for us. A commenter says to OP, his family is toxic. I'm glad he's out. Put him in counseling so he doesn't blame himself or you in the future. You never know. Better get him the help he needs before it's eating him inside. A commenter says his mother seems to have mental health issues. Both your lives will be easier if you just let the relationship go. The sad reality is, just because someone is in your family, it doesn't mean they are capable of loving support. She is too self-involved to offer this. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Sherbert Old 7724 from the Am I Overreacting subreddit and says, Am I overreacting? I'm super creeped out by a man I went on a date with. I, 30 female, was talking to a guy, 30 male, that I met on Tinder a month or so ago. I've been on these dating apps off and on for a couple of months now. It's rough out there. I was about ready to delete them all when I matched with this guy. We hit it off super well. He was thoughtful, funny, and could genuinely hold a conversation. After a couple of days of talking off and on, we moved to Snapchat. I only use Snap to verify someone is real and to avoid giving my number out, as this story will explain exactly why not to do that. Lol. We talked throughout most of the following week and a half. I really liked him. So when he asked to see me on that upcoming Friday, last week, I was very excited. I'm a single mum and have a pretty high-level job, so I'm left making decisions all day, every day, and he knew that. So he suggested that he would love to plan the whole date for us. He seriously sends me an itinerary. Lol. He bought us seats at a black light painting class, and then to an arcade bar when we were done. Even suggested to wear comfy shoes since we were going to be standing most of the night. It was so thoughtful, and I was honestly pretty impressed. We meet in the painting class parking lot. The class was so much fun. When we were done, he even asked if someone could take our picture holding the painting so we could look back on it. At the time, I thought it was pretty romantic. As we were leaving, he asks if I wanted to have him drive us to the bar. I agreed. I was really looking forward to it. The night continued to be so much fun. I kicked his ass in pool and ping pong, and after we got tired, we decided to stop next door to this cute martini bar to end the night. While we were there, it somehow was brought up that he would never approach a woman in the bar. He asked if I would, and I said yes, and I have in the past. So flirting, he asked to show him how I'd do it. So having a ton of fun, I got out of my chair and started role-playing. I came up and said, "Hey, my friend over there thinks you're super cute," pointing across the bar. Then I literally make a sprint for it and run to a chair across the room, then wave. Lol. At that point, we were both laughing so hard. I came over and asked for his number, since at that point I only had a Snapchat. A little bit later, he gets a phone call and steps out. I thought nothing of it. It was loud in there. But then maybe 10 minutes later, he calls me, saying I need to come outside. So as I go outside, I notice he's all the way down the street. It was odd. I walk down there to meet him and he says, "My friend just called. She's having issues with her boyfriend and wants me to come stay with her." And at that point, my balloon popped. Lol. I somewhat understood. I have guy friends, but it was weird and I resigned it to the date being over. I said, "Okay, well, let's just go then." It was late anyways. He says no, because he told her that he can't just leave me. I took that as he wants to go, but feels like he can't. So I insisted, "No, please take me back to my car. It's okay." Because okay, even if that were true and he didn't want to go, why would he have me close the tab and walk down the whole street to just tell me that? He didn't have to bring up the call at all. He said he didn't want to, but would because I asked. So this is where it gets scary. The drive home was weird and silent. Once we get to my car, the parking lot was empty. It's dark. It's maybe 12 a.m. and I get out of the car and so does he. I hug him goodbye, but then he just doesn't let go of me. He tells me that I don't have to go. I say yes, I'm leaving, and try to kindly push him off me, but he doesn't budge. So then I very directly say, "Let me go." He lets go immediately and holds his hands up like I'm being crazy. I walk around to my driver's side door, but he follows me. He stands between me and the car. He asks if he can have another chance and try to hug me again. I step backwards, avoiding it. He then suggests that we can still have sex if I wanted to. I said no. So then he said, "Can I at least get a goodbye kiss?" I said no again, but then he kept asking, "Please, come on." So then I did, thinking he'd let me just go home if I did. He opens my car door for me and I get in, but he just holds the door open, standing there like the actual man emoji, saying nothing. I say, "What? Please shut my door." And he asks if he can have another chance. Honestly felt like he wouldn't shut my door until I agreed to it, so I did. Then he says, "Call me when you get home." I say, "I'll text you." He said, "No, you're going to call me," then shuts my door. But then he just stands there blocking my car. So I hesitantly roll my window down and tell him to move. He asks again if I'll really give him a second chance. As I'm slowly driving away, trying not to hit him, I yell, "Sure" to that. He comes back up to my car, making me hit my brakes. And he puts his hand on my windowsill/roll down window and says, "Okay, call me when you get home." I say okay, and I drive off immediately and start crying. I was so overwhelmed. I don't text him or call, but maybe 20 minutes later he calls me on Snap over and over. I turn my phone off. I figured I just needed some sleep and maybe I was overthinking things. I did have a couple of drinks. The next morning I get a long snap from him saying how impressed he was by me and he's so sorry about that phone call. She's just a friend and that he wants another chance. I respond, calling him out on his behavior and that he's apologized for the wrong thing and that he terrified me. At that point, he video called me again on Snap. I could see that he was at a grocery store, if that even matters. I blocked him, then he called me on his cell phone. I blocked that. I continued to block him on everything, even if we didn't follow each other on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Tinder, Hinge. Maybe an hour later I get a text from a random unsaved number with an enormous message from him. Starting it as, I realize you've blocked me. I'm not trying to intrude or stalk you in any way, but... And then profusely apologized for the way he made me feel and that he won't ever reach out again without consent. I blocked that number. I didn't respond. If I had to guess, that was from his work phone that I'd seen in his car. When I was getting out the bar, I said, "Oh, you forgot your phone." He said, "Oh no, that's just my work phone." A week goes by, hearing nothing. But then I get a message from Social Flowers. I was confused. I never heard of it before, but I guess it's flowers you can send anonymously with a super cringy message. My birthday was in a couple of days. It said, "Pre-birthday wishes. Like petals kissed by dawn. Ooh, they carry a tender wish, unfolding sweetness to wrap your heart in light and warmth. A quiet gift to brighten your soul's garden. These flowers hold my wish to mend any missteps. Each petal, a quiet regret, and hope to make it right. You left a lovely impression. I'd love another chance." Then he signed his Instagram handle instead of his name. What the fuck? I declined the flowers. After a couple of days, I hadn't received anything, so I thought maybe it was over. But then, while I was at work, I get a notification on Snapchat that blocked user has created a new account. This was the random number he texted me from, assuming his work phone. I saved it under his name and blocked just in case. I'm glad I did. I immediately blocked his new Snapchat, scared that he would try to add me or reach out again. I'm so confused because my friends are laughing it off as, if he wanted to, he would, type of jokes. But I'm genuinely creeped out. I bought pepper spray and I'm constantly looking around for him when I'm in public. Am I overreacting? What do I even do? I feel like something should be reported. I don't know to who or for what, but this does not seem normal. It's crazy how this one escalated and genuinely scary because it all started off relatively normally, the thoughtful planning, the fun conversation. It sounded like OP was having an absolutely wonderful time. But as soon as he felt rejected, he stopped respecting any boundaries that were in place. The refusing to let go of her, blocking her from leaving, the repeatedly pressuring her after multiple no's, making her promise another date just to be able to get away from him. Fucking terrifying. And then continuing to contact after being blocked everywhere. And let's talk about the flowers because they weren't romantic. They were just another way of saying that I know you blocked me, but I'm still going to find other ways to reach you. And this guy doesn't seem to be stopping. He seems to be escalating, if anything. So I don't know about law enforcement, if they would do anything or not, but I certainly hear people starting a paper trail early, getting that information out there, documenting this with law enforcement. I know they can't immediately arrest him for anything because he hasn't done anything technically yet, but I guess if that paper trail is there and if he does try anything, then you can jump straight to that. Opie comes in with their first update in the same post and says, "I'm so glad I posted this because I genuinely see how serious it really is now. I haven't dated much, so this opened my eyes quite a bit. As for a few of the comments, I wanted to elaborate on a few things. I did report him to Tinder. We were out for about 6 hours. Had a drink while painting, then a drink at the martini bar. I was not intoxicated. I realize any amount of alcohol and driving is unsafe, but I was willing to take that chance in order to get away from him as quickly as I could. Hell, I even kissed him. It's not something I would have done in any other circumstance. I have alerted my manager since he knows where I work, and it doesn't make any sense to me either why he would do this. I was confident he was such a good guy until we left. It was like his personality completely flipped, which left me confused and doubting myself since he seemed so genuine and sweet for weeks that I was actually going crazy trying to justify how he ended it. Like maybe it really was just a misunderstanding. I realize now it wasn't, lol, and I'm so glad it happened on the first night. I can't imagine how things would have gone if our relationship progressed and he got my address, because I really would have looked past that phone call. Lastly, for those of you asking, this is what he sent me from his work phone after I called him and blocked him. It said, "I understand that you've blocked me on everything, and I completely respect your need to cut me off. I'm not trying to intrude or stalk you in any way, I swear to God, but this text is just to express how deeply sorry I am for what happened. I had no idea you felt scared or mistreated, and learning how my actions affected you has shaken me to my core. I was at Walmart at the time I read your text and I was stunned. The Walmart employee came over to ask if I was even alright. I stood there 5 minutes in shock, unable to move. It was clearly a miscommunication on my part, and I take full responsibility for that. When I stood there by your car as you was leaving, I thought it was a normal gesture to ensure you drove off safely, something I've always done out of care, to make sure the woman leaves before I leave. But I see now how it came across differently, and I'm heartbroken that I made you feel trapped or held hostage in any way. You had every right to feel the way you did, and I'm so sorry for not recognizing your discomfort in the moment. It was never my intention to pressure you or make you feel unsafe. I swear on my mama and God above, that's the truth. For the past several weeks we've spoken, I've tried to be so respectful and kind, always seeing you in the best, beautiful light. You're truly the most beautiful woman I've met, inside and out. I swear to God I wasn't raised to act with bad manners or ill intent, and knowing I made you feel otherwise has left me shattered, changed. I deeply regret failing your honor and your boundaries and making you feel anything less than safe and respected. I don't expect a reply, and I want you to know I won't ever contact you again unless you choose to reach out first. I respect your decision completely. I just needed to share this to clear my conscience and let you know how sincerely sorry I am. I'm committed to learning from this and ensuring it never happens again. I wish you nothing but peace and safety moving forward. My deepest apologies once again. It is my hope to make it right by you. Opie then says, seems like a genuine message at first, but considering what he did after he sent it makes me think he's just a really good talker. Probably how he got me to trust him so quickly. And honestly, this was somewhat of the reason why I felt like I was overreacting. Anyways, for those of you that read all of this, thank you. It feels good to have support. I'm planning on reporting it to the police, and if anything else happens, I'll file an order of protection. If anything else comes of it, I'll try to update. So OP did come in with an update and said, for those of you who saw my last post, I thought I'd give you another update. It got worse. I was supposed to go out the other night with a friend, M, to the clubs downtown, relatively around the same area we went in that date, and luckily I had other plans so couldn't go. The next morning I wake up to phone calls from that friend that went out, telling me to call him as soon as I got up. He proceeds to tell me that him and his friend were at a bar when he gets tapped on the shoulder. He turns around and it's the guy I went on a date with. He apparently was going around asking people if they knew me. Mind you, this man does not live in this city. He lives about an hour north of where I am. My friend, not realizing who it was at the time, said he knew me. The stalker proceeds to ask him where he can find me or if he knew how he could contact me. Obviously, all of his alarms are going off. My friend said he didn't know me well enough to have any of my information, but asked him why. The stalker says, last time we talked we had a miscommunication and I just need to clear things up. I just want to talk, man. I just want to talk to her. My friend quickly shuts it down, says he won't be much help, but that if I wanted to talk to him, he's sure I would have reached out, left it at that. He took pictures of him and the friend he was with. I immediately called the police, only to find out my neighbor, I live in a duplex so we share the same house, said that last night someone was ringing our doorbell at 1 a.m. My dad came over and installed Ring doorbell cameras. The police are patrolling my street. They said I have enough to press charges of harassment and stalking. Thank you for everyone that responded to my last post. Without most of those comments, I'm not sure I would have realized how serious this was. Since then, my friends have apologized and are fully supportive. One of them is sleeping with me tonight. Then OP comes in with their final update and says, hi everyone, so I don't use Reddit often, so I'm not too sure how to post an update. Hopefully this works. But to give a final update on my last couple of posts, this is how it ended. I'm still shocked and trying to wrap my head around it. I had originally left out a part in my first post. It was already so insanely long and it didn't seem relevant at the time. I kept out the part where I ran into an acquaintance during the first date. I'd met this guy one other time, let's call him Corey, and he was with a girl, let's call her Megan. I met Corey several weeks prior at the bar. He was a part of the friend group I was with and just took him as a typical super fun gay guy in the group. Since that day, he had been hitting me up almost weekly, asking me to hang out. I don't go out often, so that combined with being a bit weirded out on his persistence, I never met up with him. Fast forward to the day I had the date. He reached out again, asking if we could go to the bars, but I said that I was going on a date and would not be available. He asked where we planned to be, and I told him, not thinking he'd actually show up. Later that night, he shows up to the martini bar we were in. He introduces me to Megan, but then for some reason, they both sit down next to us. That's when my date got the phone call. So while he was outside, I was with these two people. But where it gets strange is, Corey was the one I was supposed to meet with that one night, but didn't go. He was the one that called me to tell me that the stalker had been going around asking people if they knew me. But then Megan comes into the picture. Apparently when they ran into the stalker downtown, the stalker was with a guy that Megan would hook up with according to her, but didn't know well. After that night, she all of a sudden started sending me messages letting me know how brave I am. That she's so sorry this is happening. This is so crazy, blah blah blah. And then sending screenshots of a friend asking about me. She even sent screenshots of him asking her to set me up so the stalker could come talk to me, but she insisted she trusted this friend. It felt off. Something was weird. At one point she did ask me to come hang out with her and Corey, but she would say that she'd keep me safe and nothing would happen. Let's just have a fun night to get our minds off of it. At first a part of me was thankful I had them looking out and sending me these warnings or having insight, but then all of a sudden, like a switch flipped, I had this super weird gut feeling that they were involved somehow. I don't know, but it was like my reality shifted. I realized every single thing had to do with this stalker looped directly back to them. They were involved in every moment. I was going crazy trying to figure out if it was coincidental, but I never ended up hanging out with either Corey or Megan, despite their continued persistence. I eventually called the police and filed a report. They found him and told him if he reaches out ever again to me or any of my friends to find me, he'd be arrested and served with a restraining order. From that day, I literally never heard from him, Corey, or Megan again. A few family members think they were just mixed in and were innocent, but my friends think it was more sinister. With all that said, I'm okay. I'm safe and a hell of a lot more careful when it comes to dating or meeting new people, which I don't plan on doing again anytime soon. I appreciate the support from all of you. You really seem to care. The world needs more people like you. The apology text after the updates is really unsettling for me because it looks sort of intelligent on the surface or whatever, but it's still manipulation. He was still framing himself as this devastated, misunderstood good guy while continuing to contact her after being blocked everywhere, going into town looking for her. And the Corey and Megan part would super creep me out as well. Maybe they might have been innocent, maybe they just like being involved in some kind of drama, but it's bizarre how every single thread in this story somehow circled back to them. And I don't blame OP for trusting her gut here because from the very beginning she was correct about this guy. And honestly, thank goodness she did listen to herself early instead of waiting until this escalated even further. Hopefully he does stay away from her. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, it's absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.